right? And it's happening at the same time. And I think that 3 is driving that melodic thing. And dynamically, his interpretation is continuing to build, while at the same time, the lyrics are continuing to say, go forward, move forward more. This is just an absolute masterpiece. Hey, what's up, fellow deers? A-Aron here for my 8th reaction video. And that's right, you heard it. Here to react to Dimash again. And this one I'm super excited about because it was requested quite a bit by you all, and that is Olympico. If I'm saying that correctly, although I think it's Italian based on what I've heard. So I think that that is roughly there. That said, maybe it's Olympico, but either way, I want to give special shout out to the person who requested it first and foremost, which was the very first day of my reactions. And that is Charlotte Holt 1387 from Denmark, who said this is a very uplifting song. Also written by Igor Krutoy. Especially for his vocals. And so that'll be really interesting. And it says it's in an operatic style. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. You know, I've come to learn through you all and just through some of the performances that Igor Krutoy has actually come out of retirement to create compositions, musical compositions for Dimash, to write specifically for Dimash, which makes a ton of sense because imagine if you've got, let's liken it to a painter, for example, and you've spent your career painting on a canvas, and all of a sudden now you've learned that you actually have the tooling, maybe let's call it the digital era, that everything is unlocked in 3D, or that you've got this extra special paintbrush. That's what Igor Krutoy has in the likes of Dimash at his disposal here. He has this incredible range and just so much he can do with it. So that makes a ton of sense, and I appreciate it, as always, your feedback. Now, be sure today especially to stick around and watch until the end, because I'm introducing a new rating scale, A-Aron rating scale, where I'm going to look at a number of different aspects of this performance and production and so forth. And so that should be really exciting, and you definitely want to stick around for that. And some of the comments throughout are going to, lead up to that. So without further ado, let's jump right in to Dimash Olympico. And I'm just on the edge of my seat because he does it to me every time. wow, Dimash, you're going to do it to me again, aren't you? Of course you are. Oh, boy. Okay, so there is just an incredible amount to unpack there. And so I'm going to go back and kind of talk through it. Although at the beginning I need to listen to a little bit of it as I describe it, because there's so many things I heard and saw and thought about that I want to cover. So it starts, what I didn't know it, now I know, obviously, having watched it, but the original thoughts I had when it started is, he's in a room and you can hear, what I wrote down was kind of this synthetic sound in the background rising, and you can hear it cheering, which later turns out to be his audience. During a live performance, he's in the backstage of his own performance and starts performing backstage, walking out in front. And so let's look at that a little bit. So start hearing the audience. Okay, yeah, so I wrote this down as well. So we get a soft resolve. It switches from that. And when we do, you get a close-up of him where he's just there. I think this is it. Yeah, so it gets closer and closer up to him. Now, what I started thinking about with this, which is the first time I started thinking about this when watching Dimash, this is now my 4th Dimash video, but through your comments and education, I'm realizing just how much of a humanitarian he is, and just amazing person. And so when seeing this imagery, I'm thinking just how incredible he is and what's going on in his mind here. Right? Thoughts of inspiration, of intrigue, of changing the world, what is happening. And as it zooms in and we get that resolve from that synthetic sound up to the, almost like a flute, right, in the background, you get a little bit of a smile on his face. Right? Watch that. Right there. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And then, so I noticed right here, I talked about this with Morris and A-Aron, but the posture, like he is up here. And look at that picture right there, actually. And so his ability to begin singing, sitting down, clearly, in part at least, is due to posture. Now, we've learned through him doing all kinds of stage maneuvers and dropping down while holding a ridiculously high note without faltering even a millisecond, that he actually doesn't need it. But it's good technique, obviously. And, any wind instrument, where you're leveraging the wind, I know this as a trumpet player, you want to open up the airway, the lungs, right? And obviously vocals is different, but nevertheless, it's still an instrument that uses the lungs. And so that posture is incredibly important. And he's setting the stage, and he clearly is well rehearsed and practiced with this, and he's ready. And as it was zooming in, I was actually thinking to myself, what kind of earphones does he use? What kind of mic does he use? And I noticed with the earphones, it was branded DQ for Dimash Kudo Bagen. And I don't know if that's a post edit or if that's actually his brand. If so, I want to try out those headphones. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if that were the case. I thought the same with the mic. Now, when he picks up the mic, there's not a long pause there. He just immediately starts singing, right? And so there's a couple of the things I noticed as he's walking. He starts singing, and then you hear the chorus in the background coming in, which is a fantastic sound in the background. It's a full-on chorus. You hear the drums especially, and things are building, and this song continues to build. It's a cyclical pattern, and then it goes up. It keeps going. It's building. And then we get to a climax and then it resolves. So we're going to kind of take that back and listen to a little bit of that again. And we'll probably cover lyrics separate because I want to explore them as I'm watching again here a little bit deeper because I did pay attention to them, but you know, I will say that what I can gather is that it is some of the same emotional, uplifting thoughts given to me by your suggestions. And it does sound like a very moving and inspiring piece, but we'll look at that separate. So let's dive into this. And guys, I will point out some of these things as we're going through. I will continue to listen. I've these in my ear, and I can hear it just fine. It sounds amazing, actually. And so when I point out little things in here, I'm not stopping listening. I've already heard it once. And I just want to comment on some of the things that I'm seeing and hearing. That's what this is, right? The body language. So I don't know that I caught that timing of that before. But when he says you are strong, listen to the band introduction right there. It is a huge transition. It's a little subtle actually because we're still not at a dynamic yet. We're really there. And notice it keeps building, right? The cyclical pattern. And then it keeps going up. And it's going to continue going up. So we're building, and dynamically it's still fairly low, but this is a big transition here. And the lyrics match that. You are strong. You are strong. Oh man. The symbolicism, the metaphor here is truly remarkable, right? The lyrics and what he's doing. Watch this. You are stronger than your troubles as he pushes against the wall, implying it doesn't matter what troubles are in front of you, what wall is there. You can push past it. You are stronger than your troubles. You can push beyond them. And then the speed of the abundant heart as he quickly throws his arm back. You're stronger than you know the speed. He's building. Let's talk about the delivery and the lyrics. Always go forward as much as you can. Yes, you can. Like he's stepping up with the lyrics. This is brilliant. Igor, whoever wrote the lyrics, I don't know if Igor also did, but his delivery and performance of it as well. This is super inspirational. Let's talk about these lyrics. And I did pull up the lyrics because I didn't want to go back and forth like this. So I pulled up the lyrics in English. So let's take a look at them. So every stone and every flower, our earth was created for love. We are its children, poets and heroes. The life is born and goes and will be forever. Wow, so he's talking about focusing on the beautiful things. And that we are the beautiful things. We are its children of earth. Right? And it was created for love. Poets, heroes. Life is born and goes and will be forever. It's constantly growing. And let's focus on the positive things, the beauty in life. You are strong, you know. Be brave. You are strong, you know. You are more powerful than, that's where we saw the wall. You are more powerful than your problems. As fast as a noble heart. Catch up with it, embrace it. In other words, the young future as well for the chorus. So he's saying that your heart will lead you. And you need to catch up with where your heart's taking you. Follow your passion, follow your dreams, go for it. Well, and then it continues, go. Do not stop in the middle of your path. Don't let anything stop you. He talked about your problems, more powerful, just go. This is deep. Brotherhood and liberty. The world really needs you. Brotherhood and liberty. So, togetherness, right? We can unite and be free. This is the way I'm interpreting it. The world really needs you. Go. Be yourself and be ourselves. You can everything if you want. I'm guessing that's a typo. You can be. Ooh, that's interesting to think about what it actually says. You can be everything if you want. No, you can probably have everything, or you can achieve everything if you want it, maybe. You can achieve. Fill in the blank. This is interesting. Always forward, ever forward, as long as you can. I remember these lyrics. As long as you can, you can. Wow, talk about uplifting. The world turns, although sometimes it makes you cry. Only the love is the answer to the question why. So here's another one that rhymes in English, which I don't know if in Italian it does. Let's see. Piangere. I don't know how to speak Italian. I speak Spanish, but it is quite a bit different, especially in terms of pronunciations. Perché, piangere, piangere. I guess it's kind of, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but I guess it kind of rhymes. But anyway, your mind is your spirit. It will stay with you. You are strong. So we get back to the chorus. You are strong, you know, be brave. You are strong, you know. Yeah, so we've heard this. Go, do not stop. So this is a repeat too. You are strong, you know. Go, do not, always. So just such a powerful. And it's so appropriate for the moving, the music that just keeps advancing you forward. Right? We're stepping up, and it feels like there's even key changes within this where we're changing, and it's hard to follow what's happening to my ears compositionally. But it continues to. And then let's talk rhythmically what's happening that is driving this. Right? So if I'm hearing correctly, we got. So I think it's like eight beat phrases, like two bars of four. But there's a polyrhythmic drum happening, right? And polyrhythm is where you have two rhythms happening at the same time. And they can compete and conflict, but create incredible sound. And I think that, if I'm hearing correctly, we'll go back and listen to it, but that's what's driving that forward, not only melodically, right? The doom, 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 and then we continue to build melodically. But rhythmically, we've got a 3 going on in the background on top of the 4, right? So you got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Right? And it's happening at the same time. And I think that 3 is driving that melodic thing. And dynamically, his interpretation is continuing to build, while at the same time, the lyrics are continuing to say, go forward, move forward, more. This is just an absolute masterpiece. Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to hear that again if I'm interpreting that polyrhythm correctly. Let's go forward a little bit though. Maybe when he's walking. So I think it's actually the combination of the drums and the guitar riff. The emphasis of those that gives it that polyrhythmic feel. That was an emotional roller coaster. The thing that really got me, and if you couldn't tell, I cried again. I missed this in the lyrics. This world really wants you. Well, here it said it really needs you. Maybe I wrote it down wrong. What I wrote down was the world really wants you. So maybe the translation of the lyrics was off. I don't know. Well, obviously, maybe they're different is what I mean. But I didn't catch that. And so it's not just go, do stuff, don't stop, but you are needed. You are special. The world needs you. The world deserves to get your brilliance. Go, be, do. It's such an inspirational message. Right? And look, I don't even need to encourage you to do it. Dimash said it. Go! Don't just listen to this reaction. Just go. Go do it. What is in your heart? Chase it. Right? Where was it? As fast as a noble heart, catch up with it, embrace it, go for it, run with it. Do not stop in the middle of your path. Don't let a wall get in your way. And it just keeps building and building and building until he takes it up an octave. Of course, Dimash, of course. Right? And repeats the whole thing. And then, of course, ends on this high note. Everybody's invested. The stage presence, the cinematography, everything. I got to listen to that one last time. We're going to introduce the new rating scale. I want to take that back to where he takes it up an octave. I don't know exactly where that is. Oh, it's not there. Oh, yeah, that was the stuff I know. Okay, so. Ready goes even higher. And the fireworks and everything, just unreal. Okay, so now let's introduce a brand new A-Aron rating system. Now this probably will change some. It's very possible as I learn and get better. But the idea here is not just to put some fancy thing on it. It is sort of, but to be able to actually almost objectively evaluate kind of different videos on a number of different criteria. Now, this is more catered towards music video reactions, or just music reactions. And I will start doing other types of reactions, and I'll adjust accordingly as they happen. But there's 6 dimensions right now. And again, this may change as I learn and grow and change. Now, I did put a little bit of thought into this, but not a ton. I think I spent 30, 45 minutes on this before making this video. So I'll learn and adjust as necessary. But it's a 100-point scale. 100's perfect. Now, I'm going to probably suck at being objective at first. And my apologies, it's new. We'll get better with time. Okay, maybe for those in the beginning, we'll come back and redo them again or something at some point. I don't know. But nevertheless, performance. Is a higher rating scale because how did the musician or musicians or performer, how did they actually perform? Musical architecture, and we're going to break all these down as we get to them. But this is kind of the composition or arrangement and how things put together. The quality, right? Because we could have an amazing thing, but if you can't hear it well or you can't see things, then there's a factor. The presentation, the overall element, how things tie together, the production value, which also has a higher scale, just like performance, because to me, that's the ability to kind of blend multiple elements and bring them together, right? The entertainment. Are we entertained? Does it, engage you and so forth? And then the value, right? And so these will make more sense as we go through. So let's look at performance. And, my presentation of this document will be more polished with time, but I didn't want to hold up my evaluation. Now, again, bear with me. I'm going to get some of this wrong, but I'm going to do my best. And it's my own, obviously, opinion. So obviously it's subjective, but I'm going to try to get consistent over time where it's relatively objective. And so technique, performance technique, right? And so here we're not just talking about Dimash, but also the band, and the choir and everything. And so, I don't have a better way to do this right now. So if this is, 20 total, let's consider the technique a scale of 1 to 5. Clearly the technique is spot on, perfect. I can't find any imperfections in any bit of it. The emotion, it was strong, in your face, some of the musicians, but I felt like there could have been a couple points maybe where Dimash maybe was a little bit more vulnerable. I mean, I give this a 4. Connection, oh my gosh, definitely a 5. The band, everything. I mean, just every aspect of it was connecting with you from the onset. Interpretation, right? So Igor Krutai put together this brilliant work of art. How did the band interpret it? How did the stage interpret it? How did the lights and everything interpret it? And to me, that can't be anything but a 5. And so for performance, I'm going to give this a 19 out of 20. Okay? I know I'm going to get better at how I track and display this, but musical architecture. So the construction and delivery of the musical itself, right? So structure, instrumentation, creative decisions, right? So I wanted to do this in a way where if we're taking a cover and it's not an original, what about the arrangement and the interpretation of that, as opposed to, in this case, we've got our own composition with Igor. So the structure of how things were broken out and how they built up. So this is a 15 points overall, and is one, I probably should have taken this one level deeper in terms of how I break them apart. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to actually bring these together. But structurally, the composition itself was brilliant. I was going to say it might be slightly long in terms of how it builds and repeats. But once you weave in the lyrics to it and allow for the emotion there to take in, and that repetition is sound. So to me, that's perfect. Instrumentation. I mean, it's its own interpretation, but, certainly the strings and the choir gives it that operatic, right? Like, to me, this is like a true opera. And so from that perspective, I feel like it's spot on. I might want to hear maybe some horns at some point or something. I'm not quite sure. But in terms of the feel that they're going for, absolutely spot on. I can't find any improvements there. Adaptation. Did we make the right choices? It goes back a little bit to the structure, but that, 3 against 4 of rhythm. The introduction as it's building, I didn't think about this metaphorically, but, this kind of falls more into the presentation side, so I'm going to hold off on that comment, actually. But the right choices in terms of, the individuals, obviously Dimash, is he the right person to perform this? Clearly. Do we have the right choir, right musicians, right instrumentation, right fit for screen? And I think absolutely, again, I can't find any flaws, any room for improvement there. Brilliant. Alignment with the messaging, right? The musical architecture. So moving forward, that momentum, that consistent momentum where we have a lot of repetition, but that driving theme where we continue to build up melodically as well as dynamically, volume, right? As well as that driving modulation for keys and the 4 against 3. That forward, you've got it in you, don't give up, keep driving. It's there. That messaging alignment is absolutely spot on. The alignment with the presentation, the overall feel in the zoom and the outs, and we're going to look at this more with presentation, but absolutely aligned. Alignment with the talent. Yeah, I mean, the only thing maybe, and it's a choice, so, you know, again, this does go a little, some of these cross, but it goes a little bit to presentation, but, you know, maybe a little glimpse of the choir, although creating that mystique of them. I was thinking in the room, when he's back in the room and you start to hear the choir, do we want to have a little bit of a show of them or a visibility, a view of them? But maybe that mystery of them until he walks out on stage is the right choice. Yeah, this is flawless. So musical architecture, I've got to give that a 15 out of 15. Quality, technical production, the quality of the video, the quality of the audio, the cinematography, and then understandability. Can you interpret this and make sense? Or if it's intentionally ambiguous, is that clear? And in this case, again, flawless. There's literally nothing about the quality of this that I could add to it. Presentation. So this is a big one. Let's jump into that. So, is there parity between what the ear hears and what the eyes see? And again, the eyes right at the beginning. I'm seeing the I call it dressing room, but the the back room, the VIP lounge, if you will, before going in, where he starts his performance even before they get in there. And then what you see as he's walking out and so forth, clearly that's there. They show the different instrumentations throughout, and so his interpretation of this and that, and then he did, I think I commented earlier, a little bit more vulnerability on that. I might have to revisit that. I might actually adjust that because I might have to go back to it. But now I'm thinking about when he switched, he did kind of change to more of a flowing. Let's look at that real quick. Right here, I think. Oh, okay. No. So he did completely change his body language. I've got to go back now to that emotion where I give him a 4. Because I was only thinking he was just strong throughout, although there was some vulnerability needed in certain points. And I take that back. I strike my record. That's a 5. It's perfect on performance. I mean, how could we not? So going back to here, the messaging and the visibility of that messaging, it's a match all the way throughout. And he just continues to, and he's driving, and he's even pointing at some points. Absolutely. The value. So we've talked a little bit about this, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but because this ties to the value. The messaging, that impact to society, the impact to the users, thematic, emotional. My gosh, I cried. The value is unbelievable here. Go do something, go be yourself, go do it, just go, go, go. He literally says go. The value, the contribution to society, the broader thematic. Clearly this is a 15 out of 15. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Hey, how can it not be? And so now let's go back to this value to all, right? The parity between the value and the presentation, and the value to everything else basically is what I'm saying. How does it fit thematically? And I've talked quite a bit about this already, and it absolutely does across the board. The stage presence. Well, I've already talked quite a bit about that, and clearly that's strong. The cinematography, the camera angle zooming in and out and circling around is just brilliant. It's world class. Absolutely. Visual creativity, things like color, lighting effects, innovation, originality. The lighting, I saw several lighting effects at the beginning. Everything was, I mean, just look at that right there. Just, I mean, you can see the background. The visual imagery. Look, I mean, look, I just click around and you can see that it's just unbelievable, right? The visual effects as well. Innovation, originality, absolutely slam dunk. Lighting. Audience engagement, if appropriate. You know, it's hard to, you don't see them from here. But you see him pointing a little bit, you see him in your face, you see him being vulnerable, and then you also hear the crowd cheering in the beginning. So I think there is a little bit of, if appropriate, to this, but clearly I can't detract any points. I just can't, right? And so far, presentation, it has to be perfect. So we've got perfection so far. Only entertainment remains. And so here we're talking about engagement. Do they bring you in? Replayability, would I continue to replay this? And is it accessible? Can you understand? Can you relate? Can you actually get into the entertainment? And clearly I was fully engaged. There is no doubt about it. For my very first one, Dimash, you get a perfect score.
You win.
I almost hate that because, you know, it's almost like, where do you go from there? I don't know how I feel about that. But at the same time, this was perfection. Like, what could you change? What could you make better here? This was just perfection. So hell freaking yeah. 100 out of 100. Dimash, you've done it again. You are an amazing, amazing person. No one else like you. Well done. Well done.
Flawless victory.
So with that, thank you all very much. Please do go ahead and subscribe if you want to hear and see more of these as they drop. I thank you very much.